So I am Maryann Moschides from Scanbuy. I manage our smart packaging and consumer engagement business. We get to work with retailers and CPGs around the globe, actually, with their QR code implementations, with dynamic codes and packages. So as you can imagine, today's topic is a favorite one of ours. I'm excited to be able to share with you our experience, where we're at with this. So as the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And these are just a few examples of the many products and brands that rely on Scanbuy, and we have QR codes on these packages, doing lots of things, linked to lots of experiences, nutritional information. It could be a sustainability story, some of our traceability, some of the olive oil that we work with, ingredients, definitions, recipes, regulatory information, contests, shopping, e-commerce, and so much more. What I wanted to do in this one slide is kind of set that foundation of, we are working with packages, all kinds of shapes, sizes, industries, brands. We even are working with electronics groups as well to put codes on packages and link them. So we've got pretty good knowledge and experience placing codes on packages, including GS1 Digital Link QR codes. So today, I really just wanted to share our knowledge, what we're doing, what we see, trying to bring it to a level of, a 101, as well as a little bit more of a deeper dive. So let's take a quick peek at our agenda here. Okay, my mouse is working, great. So really, we're going to touch on a bunch of topics here, but the whole idea is this glide path of the on-pack QR code into a GS1 Digital Link, and how this one code can do so much more, from internal operations and, trigger point of sale transactions, consumer engagement, inventory management, recalls, lots of fun things when GS1 standards are embedded in this QR code. Well, here's the impressive screen, if you could see it now, with all these different packages and products that we support. Is that working?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, great. So we really, we're proud of the work. These are retailers with private label. These are, spirits companies. We work with wine companies. We work with foods and snacks and beverages, UPSs of the world. We have our codes on a variety of packages and products. We do a lot of other work as well. If you walk into a Starbucks or a Home Depot or a variety of other kinds of retailers and experiences. We launched shoppable TV with NBC about 5 or 6 years ago. So we understand putting the code on a package or a product. We understand volumes. We understand, the printing environment. We understand print ready codes. We understand a great experience. We understand dynamic. The whole idea was to share this with you instead of telling you all about us and all of the work. We want you to look at this and say, okay, enterprise class, these guys have worked with a variety of companies, and hopefully there are a bunch of lookalikes, with some of our friends on the call today. You'll even see, a few of you will see your packages on here. We work with a variety of different teams around the globe for you. So let me take the next step. So this was the agenda. Very quickly, really, we'll go in through kind of what it is, dive into a little bit of, some scanning experiences, the benefits, share with you. I've gotten a few people that are allowing me to share where they are in this journey with you. And then from our experience from doing this for so long, I have probably 2 or 3 slides that kind of go through all right, how do you get started? Because the whole point of this is to be able to share a little bit of our experience and knowledge and what everyone's doing and what it means to you, and why you should at least either be getting started, or we can help with you with that, or think about, if you have codes already, how to think about starting to convert them. So really, the idea for me today is to hopefully walk you through our information, and that way you walk out of here with enough information to be excited to get started, or, have more questions that, of course, we can answer afterwards. Okay. So this is what we're talking about, right? This idea of, before we dive deeper, I want to make sure everyone is really aware, so I think it was 2018 where the GS1 ratified this idea of a GS1 Digital Link. And what did that mean? That meant we're going to take this UPC and we're going to evolve it to a place where eventually, sometime in our future, we will have one package on one barcode on the package. It's a digital link QR code. So when you scan this code, it's going to be able to do lots of things for the industry. This has been worked on through with retailers and brands and software providers and point of sale software providers and service providers, all sorts of companies. That way we are working as an industry together. So anyone that's scanning these codes are getting or being able to continue to process the beep. It may be a different kind of scan. We're scanning a QR versus a UPC, but we still need it to beep. We still need it to give the information that we need. But this is going to be a richer experience, more data. We'll be able to include batch and lot. We can include coupons at point of sale. We can include, it's going to be serialized for a lot of companies that need to start thinking about that as well. So this new, the evolution, right, of where we were and where we're going. We celebrated the 50th year birthday of this UPC, and now it's like, okay, where's innovation technology coming? Or going, and we're all a part of this. So what's important is, this idea of taking a few steps, understanding that there will be both for a long period of time. So while I'm telling you where we're going, I'm not saying that the UPC is going to be gone in a day, which is the first question we generally get. But the information I'm going to share you today is because we participate in a variety of committees and chairs and best practices with GS1 Global, best practice testing. We talk about systems readiness. I'm on a service provider group, right? It's all about making sure the software providers are getting there, brands, the retailers, and we're all kind of lockstep walking forward together to make sure we understand the size, we understand what's readable. So I talk a little bit about readiness often here. And so what does this beautiful picture mean to us, right? This means that one code, a GS1 Digital Link QR code, is going to be able to power several different features, right? I'm going to show you some experiences with nutritional information. So the consumer is going to see that code and they're going to want to scan it. So we want to give them a great experience. Maybe it's somebody on inventory, maybe it's at the point of sale, which it will be, and also supply chain, all using the same code to trigger something important to the industry. Why is this important to us? This is a great stat. This is from GS1 US, and this is from June 2024. And if you think about it, 79%, right? 79% of our consumers say they will scan products. They're more likely to buy products that have QR codes, and for a variety of reasons. I think because they're looking for more information and they feel the consumers, the brands are being more transparent, giving them the additional information that they want, to purchase a decision. This is like a big exclamation point, right? Like 79% of the people from their survey said, yes, please, this is important for us. And this demand and this trend of adding codes, we've been doing this since probably, I would say 2018. We joined up with a consumer, it was GMA at the time and FMI in the US, where it was like, let's get in front of the consumers. Let's start putting information in front of them. They're asking and demanding more and more. And the initiative Smart Label in the United States, this adoption of adding codes and consumers scanning them, this trend continues to grow. And we have been working with that beyond even just the initiative that we talked about. Brands are integrating more and more for their digital strategy as well. So let's talk about what is smart packaging and what does that mean? This is really, maybe it's a Scanbuy, but it is an industry idea here. So it means a product, right, or package that includes a dynamic QR code that is linked to something meaningful to the consumer. So, and which is also going to be used for something operational. So most companies either already activating the packages or thinking about how and when. And so those that understand that this package that you own, I don't have a package in front of me at the moment, I'm in a different office, but it's not just about the branding, it's about being a brand advocate on the box. It's about giving them something. It's about delivering information that can't fit on the box. It's a canvas that's a much wider so that a brand can tell a bigger story. We're working with groups that are adding QR codes to trace. I talked about olive oil, or Starbucks is using it to trace their coffee beans. So this individual package now, or the QR code, if you don't have them yet, is really delivering more information to them. So how does this happen? A brand adds a code. This is a Scanbuy product. Nobody owns Spark Sip. Terrible name, maybe, but we wanted to be cutesy and not so serious. So, but the idea is, right, this is a QR code on a package, which is a GS1 Digital Link. It is a multi-purpose. So today, when scanned by a consumer, they would get a smart package experience, where they would get a variety of information that we would give them. Why do we care QR codes, right? Ever since, as bad as the pandemic was, we taught the world how to scan QR codes, right? So it's native on the phone since 2017. No more friction about scanning a code, and consumers are asking for it. They understand how to scan. They don't shop like our parents did. They really care about the attributes. They care about your sustainability story. They care about recycling, and they care about what they are consuming or putting on their body. So this is an important first step to think about it. Anywhere that package is, in store, on shelf, in the car, at home, but it gives everyone the opportunity to tell a bigger story. Okay, what I thought would be interesting is to kind of see for yourself two experiences, and if you can, scan these codes, and I think we may end up delivering out the deck, but the one on the right, this is what we do today. We've been doing it for years and years and years. Some clients, 15 plus years, have been doing QR codes with us. It's a traditional dynamic QR code. If you scan it, the URL is at the bottom. Very simple. It's a Scanbuy branded QR code. It goes to an experience. No problem. When you scan the one on the right, excuse me, losing my voice here. This is exactly the same thing, but this QR code is embedded with the GS1 Digital Link standards. So this QR code on the right actually has a much different URL structure. It has a lot of information in it, which we're going to go through little by little, but the consumer doesn't see the difference. The consumer scans either QR code, and their experience is exactly the same. As rich as you want it to be, as dynamic as you want it to be, that doesn't change. So we're going to focus now on what's embedded and how that experience is really changing the industry, the operations, and informing, decisions. In this case, on the right, we included a GTIN. We included a CPV, which is a consumer product variant, and we included a consumer experience. So what I wanted to start with is, what are all those numbers? Okay, what does this look like? So GS1 has application identifiers, and the industry has agreed to comply with this information, these keys. This is very important. When we embed a QR code, this is a portion of the list, but to me, this is the primary keys and identifiers that are being integrated into QR codes. The idea is, if I scan it, consumer gets what they need, but if a point-of-sale software system scans it, they have to all be looking for the same information. And in this case, it's the O1. So my arrows just appeared very quickly, but the O1 is a GTIN. Must have that, or else it cannot be at the point-of-sale system, right? The number 10 is a batch and lot, also popular with folks that are testing. We're talking about expiration dates, best by dates, serial numbers, and consumer product variant. The arrows I put here because this is what we're seeing, and these are the groups that we're dealing with that are testing and playing with these numbers. So if you look at the top right here, this is a QR code. It is a GS1 Digital Link QR code that has a branded domain, which every brand that we work with, and as well, you will find and just make that decision. Is it a company brand? Are you going to do it by brands? Is it the same branded domain globally? All of the options. There's no wrong answer. And then you can see on the right O1. O1 is the GTIN. So that way, every system that scans this, instead of a UPC, they are looking for that O1 so that they can process it as expected. So at a point of sale, they would scan, you would hear your beep, just like any UPC being scanned. And then the consumer product variant number. This is very important. This to us is, it links to that exact package. It is a combination G10 CPV. When we work with groups, it's generally, this isn't SKU level, right? This is, as you know, there are multiple versions of a product with the same G10. It could be a different seasonal version. It could be slightly less salt, something that doesn't require or mandate legally a new G10 put in place. So that way, if we are scanning or looking for, maybe it's a product recall, we can actually look to a subset, a scope of products versus all the products. This is not yet serialized, but it is G10 to a CPV. So this is where we are going. It could be sourcing information. You have the same package, but the cocoa from this product versus this product comes from a different vendor, so to help with some recalls. So the idea here is to help with waste when we are dealing with recalls. The second example I have here is a little bit richer. In this case, we actually have the same idea. We have the domain, we have the G10 that goes beep, we have the CPV, but we also have the batch or lot number. In this case, now we really are precise identification, right, of a product. This is allowing us to, if unfortunate situation arises where it does need to be a recall, we could actually narrow it down to exactly which of the products. We can scan it and know it. And it's actually also being used at internal levels for other operational. But when you think about product waste and the regulations that are getting a little more strict, this will become important. It does need to be printed, right, at the plant. So that will decide based on, packaging and systems. I think the technology, right, is a little bit more advanced, and some of the printing systems are catching up in software. But we know that we're excited to be involved in a test that will be including that. So there are companies that know where you can and can't yet do that, and we'll be testing that. So let's play this out. This is very 101. I wanted to go backwards. The consumer scans it. Within instantly, the URL that is embedded, this is a traditional QR code, hits, in this case, the Scanbuy resolver, and immediately takes the consumer to where they need to be. Now let's do the same thing. Again, I wanted to show out the steps. There we go. Sorry, it's not exactly clicking when I need it to. So here's the exact same experience, but this time we have the digital link embedded. And if you look at step 2 here, you can see it's the longer, similar to what I shared before, the longer URL. So in this experience, we're talking about the consumer, right? So the consumer, it scans, hits our resolver, and we get to the same exact experience. Now, let's pretend we're the point of sale system, right? They don't care about that consumer engagement experience. The point of sale is going to beep. Now, what's going to be interesting here is that the UPC will also be alongside it. So that's nothing that we want to think about at the moment. They will both be on there, but the software systems are going to know to only beep once, so we don't have to worry that. So this POS could be a handheld scanner. It could be the consumer's app. It could be a variety of, it could be an inventory system. Anything when I talk about or a scanner or a register, could be the self-checkout line. So when that product scans the UPC, it beeps and hits the receipt. If it scans the QR code, the same thing happens. What you're looking at here is that 01, that's all it's looking for. It reads that embedded URL and it makes sure that it's processed, acts exactly how you would expect a traditional UPC, and it goes beep. Whether it's the consumer, right, the cashier, an employee, the software. That's why this is an industry initiative that GS1, is really making sure all the players are involved and are aware of, recognizes it and processes it exactly, and ensures that there's only one purchase processed for that transaction. So if you think about, this innovation here, we could look at the batch and lot and say, wow, this is a recall. We could look at an expiration when it comes through and say, you know what, Imagine a cashier. Now, you don't want to think about slowing down processes, but you could identify a bad product. You can also potentially deliver a coupon. We may not be there all on day one because there's a lot of processing power within that point of sale system, but knowing and identifying the exact product and the GTIN and all this information, we are going to be able to enrich the experience, as an industry, as we keep going forward. I won't take so much more time here to go over the same idea, but this is now a supply chain tool as well. Same QR code, scan it, look for what it needs, identify it, so it can act exactly the same. We just did a quick example of showing somebody looking for a product that may have expired and understanding to take it off the shelf or not. So just really, my goal here was just to think through all of the use cases that could happen and where it's happening. Because when you sit down, we've been doing this with our clients, is you really have to think about anyone within the end-to-end system that touches the UPC. Can they continue to touch it and scan a GTIN, within the digital link QR code versus a UPC code, and making sure that we aren't breaking any processes, whether it's logistics, somewhere in supply chain, inventory management, even the employees. We work with a couple brands where their employees go into stores to scan product, and they need to be able to identify and as well, and get the information they need so they can do their job properly, all at the same time delivering a really great consumer experience, because they don't even know we're doing this in the back end. And if anyone has questions, by the way, I cannot see, so I will rely on you, Rudy, to keep going, or we can, do it in the end. So what are the benefits, and why do we need to be sitting here thinking about this, and where did this come from? The power of that one single QR code on a package is going to be able to inform on so many industry challenges, or improve on, or make efficiencies, or help with efficiencies as the industry continues to roll out. And this chart for us is identifying where we believe the most important challenges for the single QR code will come into play. There'll be many of them, but for us, like traceability is a really big one. FSMA in the United States is a big recalling, demanding, serialization of products to be able to recall them. DPP, we all probably have been listening to that, understanding that we're going to need to, each material and each product is going to have its own unique ID, and you're going to have to manage that actually for 10 years. So this QR code is going to have to continue to collect the right information, live on, being able to, manage regulatory issues that are coming from all sorts of directions. By the way, we're working with batteries, we're working with food, we're working with electronics, we're working with apparel. Really important challenges the industry is facing, but this QR code, this GS1 Digital Link QR code, is going to help us do our job even more efficiently, excuse me. So again, when you look at this, it's about great consumer stories, engagement. It's about sustainability stories. It's about traceability. It's about, informing and using one QR code to do this. It's not going to happen in day one. This is just a little bit of a pretty picture here. If we think about how many barcodes exist, there are probably 3 on most packages today. There's if I go to kind of that present, there is a QR code that is just informing consumer engagement today, smart packaging. There's usually a data matrix code on there for some other issue. Maybe it's supply chain, inventory. There's always a UPC, right, in order for it to actually be purchased. So you can see where we went from maybe data matrix, and I am not talking about the products that have a mandatory use or data matrix, and I know that a data matrix can be a GS1 GS1 Digital Standards, but I'm really looking at this as a consumer-friendly environment. That I don't want to talk about adding more apps for the consumer. I think that those are more friction points. So we really believe it is the QR code is the best way to engage with that consumer. So you can see here, we see it where, okay, we have a Q card, we have a data matrix, and we have a UPC. And then our future, We don't know exactly when that will be, but it will be a single QR code. I will talk about a retailer on their private label that will be there next year. And for them, they're excited about this process and this journey. So everything I've been talking about, one code is where we're going. And this is really the picture of it. And so your brands and your brand managers, I know, will be excited about this. Space. Because the first complaint you're going to start to get when you start to, integrate this strategy into your company is, we have no space. How are we going to do this? And that is a heavy lift, right? But that is the idea, is to integrate it into that romance copy and into this isn't a slap it on for a quick campaign. It's really thinking through and strategizing on including it in the product. On the package. Okay, so excitedly, I have been given permission to talk about 2 projects. This is DECA. They are the U.S. Defense Commissary Agency. They operate about 225 stores. They are in countries around the world. Everywhere there's a military base. And so they are on this journey. Right now, they are ensuring all of their software systems and stores will be able to scan the QR codes. They are expecting to be ready sometime Q1, Q2. We support their QR codes today, so we'll be adding QR codes on a handful of their private label products that will run through testing at all of their systems and places. And they are looking for brands. I have talked to them about a few that I know that will have products next year on the shelf. So we will get involved with that testing as well. And then phase 3 is to remove the UPC altogether on all of their brands and roll out to their entire product portfolio, their private brand portfolio. So this is very exciting. I know there are a variety of retailers out there around the world that have started this, that are working on it, that are updating their systems. I spoke to GS1 US last week. They don't have a list yet of all the retailers that are in this process, but they are working on one. I'm sure all of us know a few of them that have publicly come out and talked about it, but I'm not sure of every single retailer's stage or where they are in this journey. But we are working closely with this commissary group on this journey. So, it's important because you really want to see the scannability and the testing and what is it working and the placement and how it affects consumers and if the systems are working. So that's one. And the other one that I'm allowed to talk about is Topco. So Topco is a US based company. They support about 50 plus grocer members. And we are on all of the packages, thousands and thousands and thousands of packages for this group. A traditional QR code today, when you scan it, it goes to this experience. And we are working with them where all of their going forward QR code requests will be GS1 Digital Link QR codes. So in this example today, the QR code on the left is what is on package. Great consumer experience. You can scan and see for yourself, which we do support with the menu, and there's smart label pages. This is a US based, but it's also a global project that we're doing outside of the US, not with Topco. And then you can see what it will look like for them. So the GTIN is identified in the yellow here, and then we are going to be putting the consumer product variant on all of their packages, and that's what I'm showing you in the blue. This example, I think, is Food Club. They may not be one of the first brands, but they have a variety of brands, a lot of brands, and a lot of retailers, grocery retailers that they support. So it's an exciting journey that we are on with them. This is private label brands, right, and the retailers in the US. So we're really excited about it. For some other information, we are working on, we will have GS1 Digital Link QR codes on packages starting in really Q1 next year for a non-food company, over-the-counter products in a few countries. We have some bakery products that will be out in Costa Rica and Colombia early next year. We have a variety of, hopefully another pilot that's starting that will be in mid next year. So we're really working with different companies at different parts of the journey. And I was really hoping that these would help you think about your use cases and where you sit in this. Two other ones that I can share that we didn't think about. One was, I shared earlier, somebody sends their employees in a retail store to do inventory, and they have to scan the UPC code. But when the QR code is so close to the UPC, so for in this case, think of the traditional code, so close to the UPC, every time they scan the UPC, the scanner actually scans the QR code. So now their productivity level keeps going down, and it's frustrating the employees. So what we're going to do there is we're going to change all their traditional QR codes to a digital GS1 Digital Link QR code. So many words there. I got to think of a faster way to refer to it. But the idea is then, no matter which code that employee scans while they're doing their inventory, they get the exact same experience. So we're working with the software that they use on their handset, and then we will, slowly, of course, we don't go and touch a package, which you'll hear me talk about in a little bit, just to touch a package to add a code. But when that package is ready and it's time to touch it in the next package and the next package, we will make sure they are digital GS1 Digital Link QR codes to help with that problem that their employees are very frustrated about, by the way. So that's one other place that we are working on rolling out. And the other one is there's a box company, big box store, that puts the corrugated, the boxes, and you have your product inside. They need a data matrix code on the outside for their to inform some operations internally. So we're discussing with them changing that requirement to be a GS1 Digital Link QR code. That way, because they're noticing consumers are scanning it and they can't do anything with that data matrix code. So many uses, it's very exciting. The idea of, where is it placed? And I'm sure everyone on this call could raise their hand and share 2 or 3 more examples that you have seen, or, maybe what you're thinking about. Haven't checked the clock. I'm just going to peek here. Oh, we're getting close here. So the exciting part now is, how to get started, right? You really need to get started. That is the whole point of this conversation. There's definitely a consumer experience that exists today, even if it's not on your packages, right? You can reuse assets. You probably have something exciting on your websites. Maybe you have, some influencers that show people recipes or how to use your products. Get a code on the package, let's just start somewhere and handle the consumer experience. That helps elevate the brand and your messaging and, pleases the consumer, and then get involved in these testings. So for us, what I created here for you is we've been doing it, right, for a long time. So plan, implement it, monitor it, and then grow it. So key points here, I will be very quick. Identify the stakeholders. I have another slide I'll show you a little about. So important to get a global perspective and global buy-in and executive leadership. I would know, and I don't think that's a big secret in anything, but sometimes when it's the top down helping you get more done. And sometimes when you're pushing it up a hill, it stalls a bit here and there. So identify the stakeholders, determine your packages that are about to be touched. Is there a product that is brand new? Is there a product that is, the recipe has just changed? Line yourself up with what's already going to be happening in the industry. Pick those products, because it's very expensive to say, I want to, redo this package just to add a QR code. So definitely look at the schedule. And some people have told us, oh, we don't touch packages often. I'm telling you, packages are being touched all the time. And so we get over that hurdle as well. Decide what you want to embed. Our recommendation is definitely, you have to have the GTIN, but always include the CPV. And that is a unique identifier that we could talk about later, but we find it on the product flat. It's in your Oracle, it's in your PIM. It's something that is very unique to that particular package that is identifiable, and then choose that great experience. So very simple, it sounds like, but there's some work to be done there. Then, we work and we start integrating the codes and the packages. You get them out there, you conduct your own pilots. We line up retailers, test on a variety of different stores, maybe even countries, conduct that pilot, learn from it, gather feedback, figure out what's happening with it, optimize, right? Okay, what should we change? Maybe we change the placement. Maybe the place on this one versus this one is working. Some of the rules I'll talk about very quickly. Next up. And then we just keep going, right? Okay, we did this package, I'll see the next package in the next brand or the next country, and you continue to monitor it. When it comes to Scanbuy, we do have analytics, and we can tell you what's scanning, what's working, what countries, what languages, how many times, what they're visiting, really to inform your decisions or your brand's decisions on what to deliver. So we think that's super important. We won't go through this, but when we think about what that cross-functional team is, how to get all your stakeholders lined up, someone's touching packages, someone knows that they're going to touch the package. Who's that artwork team? Who's deciding on consumer engagements within your brand? IT is so important, right? They really need to do good due diligence on, maybe the QR code partner, our understanding, where's the data coming from and what's happening, and how to confirm that the correct QR code GTIN is on the right package. Regulatory often gets involved because there's so many regulations. They're actually sometimes the front runner on why we have to start putting QR codes on packages. So they are your friends in this matter. And then sustainability is sort of, with regulatory, but, we're noticing that there's recycling initiatives or icons or pictures or things that they want to start pushing digitally. So this is just a quick peek at your friends that will help you with this initiative. These are just a bunch of tips that we always talk about. Seems a little bit 101. Always know that call to action is going to be important. Make sure it's a great experience for the consumer. You got to make sure placement is great. GS1 standards do tell you they want it near the UPC. Sometimes that's not possible because your regulatory team is really deciding it. So in the United States, for example, with smart packaging, our QR code that is digitally disclosing for bioengineered food has to be on the nutritional fact, near the nutritional fact panel. And that's not often always the same place as the UPC. So regulations always, trump where the UPC code is. And plus, if you want a consumer experience, sometimes putting it at the bottom isn't always the best. So potentially there is a QR down there. Sorry, Lori, if anyone else is on GS1, I know you're not going to like me saying that, but consumer isn't going to want to scan the bottom of a package always. So, we recommend maybe there'll be a UPC type QR somewhere, but the consumer engagement experience needs to be somewhere important. So on the right side of this little thing, which we don't really have to go through, but to us, you must make sure what you embed is correct and proper. You're using the right keys. The O1 is exactly what you need, because once it's embedded, it is not changeable. The consumer experience can continue to change, but when it is embedded, it is embedded. So we always have to make sure that we are using the correct information and it is verified. Size is important. It must be readable. It must be scannable. So really, that we have it. We have lots of slides for sizing that we recommend based on using the following the GS1 standards, but size is important, and it'll grow. You can't just go pick 15 different variants or identifiers and put it embedded into your QR code, because your code keeps getting smaller and more dense and not readable. Colors and contrast, so important. Brand doesn't want a black and white code. It doesn't have to be black and white. It is the best scannable black and white. But you can, use colors. You can add your logo. There are things that have to be tested. Placement. All those things are so important. And we also make sure every QR code has a UTM. It's like a Google Analytics or some other analytics on it, so that you can actually understand that, they are scanning our codes and getting to the consumer experience that you thought. Otherwise, it looks like a direct experience. These are high level, lots of stuff that we know that's in our head that, we just naturally understand. But I'm hoping that some of this kind of gives you the really high level watch outs, and then the kind of how to begin. We are, excited about this topic. We're doing it. We've been doing it for a long time. I think I've been at Scanbuy for 12 years. They've been around since 2000. And everything we are working on in this space is getting more exciting for sure. So I think we have only a few minutes. I mean, I have time, but I do not know if there are any questions. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see if that's okay with everyone.
Wow.
I talked a lot and fast. I'm sorry if there's so much information.
That was fantastic. If everybody could go on video, that would be great, so that everybody can also see your face. It's a good time to ask questions, something that's really there. But also know that Maryann will be there for questions afterwards. So thanks for everybody for going briefly, at least on camera. It would be fantastic.